Hey everybody, it's Glenn Ackerman with Energy Awareness Training on another beautiful Sunday morning. Want to share another wonderful class on energy awareness, energy secrets, information that we should have had a long time ago that is vital in our understanding and abilities to live a happy, joyful, productive life. So as you can see here, I have my co-host here, Miss Mia, and she's getting more self-confident. Look at how she looks right into the camera now. Yeah, say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody. She likes her little cameo. It's funny, sometimes when I take her for a walk, people think she's a little deer, but she is dear and precious. Okay, honey. If you want to say anything, you let me know, okay? All right. You may also notice I'm wearing a cap today. This is the cap of the San Francisco 49ers. And being born and raised in San Francisco, all I have to say is go Niners today. So there we have it. I want to put this to the side. So this is Glenn Ackerman again, coming to you from the jungles of West Hollywood. About to start a really good class on energy secrets you must know. And we're going to talk today about those secrets. And what's a secret? It's something that is kind of hidden, right? And not too many people know about it. And the irony of these secrets is that it's all around us, but we just never took notice of how things work. So I want to talk to you about that today. And I want to go over one of the energetic laws that affects you every single day. And I love the feedback I've been getting. Thank you for all the people who contact me every week after the class and ask me questions and want me to talk about certain topics. So I've written down your requests and I'm working on developing them into each show that comes up. So before we get started here, just want to show you today's flower bouquet. Look at the beautiful yellows and purples and orange and gold. Oh, talk about high vibrational energy. You get an uplift every time you see them. Okay, so people are coming on. Welcome, everyone. I want to talk to you about the energetic laws today, and let me just give you a quick 2-minute synopsis for those of you who are new to my work. I teach a method called energy awareness training, and what that is the ability to recognize the hidden undercurrents that influence everything that we're doing, and that really no one ever taught us how to deal with them. But underneath everything that we do in this life, in this operating life, which we call the third dimension, there's an underlying energy that creates everything that we experience. And you may have heard Albert Einstein say everything's energy. I've heard that before. You may have too. Heard it in science class, but I didn't know really what it meant. And then you might have heard Nikola Tesla say, if you really want to understand the secrets and the mysteries of life, you'll start to look at things in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So what he was saying is that there's an underlying current for everything that we experience in life, and that everything on this planet is indeed an energy. People are energy, flowers are energies, cars are energies, air is energy, the things that we can see, even the things that we can't see. And that's where it gets interesting, because we all learned how to navigate ourselves in the physical world. We all learn how to approach life in a linear process, that if we do A, we're going to get B, and if we do B, we're going to get C, and anything like this. Grow up, go to school, get an education, find a profession, get married, like the progression. And so we've all done that. And there comes a point in life, it happened for me very early, when you see that there's a part of life that's logical and linear, and there's a part of life that's not logical and it's not linear. And there's so many of the things that we have to deal with that we weren't prepared for. So, we all learn how to balance a checkbook, or at least I hope so, and keep track of, your bank account and keep track of your bills and keep track of, what time it is, so you can be places at a certain time or be on time for work. We all learn these linear logical sequences of behavior. But when it comes into dealing with the non-physical, which is our thoughts, the thoughts that go through our heads, the emotions that we feel, the situations that we encounter that have no logic, that logically shouldn't be happening or should have gone the other way, but don't, that defies logic, that's where we have the most trouble, and that's where we have the most challenge. And studying personal development, studying behavior science from all different angles, from the clinical, the collegiate, the spiritual, the scientific, from all those different realms, and a little bit of insight from above has had me being able to develop my work, which is called energy awareness training, to bring an awareness of these hidden energies, of this undercurrent that we were never taught about. So you may have heard me use the metaphor for the iceberg. Everything, the iceberg, 10% above the water we can see, 90% below the water we can't see. And the Titanic wasn't sunk by the 10% it could see, it was sunk by the what? The 90% that it couldn't see. So I was saying this is that which we can see, we can control. That which we can't see controls us. So if you think about the what people call problems or challenges in people's lives, they're not usually things that we can figure out. They're things that we can't figure out. They're not things that we wanted to have happen. They're usually things that we didn't want to have happen, and we wonder why it happened, or we through our own unconsciousness or our own not being able to see the whole picture, got ourselves into certain situations with people, places, things, money. And now we're in a whole situation that we hadn't anticipated, that we weren't ready for, maybe that we can't even handle. And that's the challenge of life. So this work, energy awareness training, is about being able to reveal so many of the laws and the principles and the workings of how this invisible energy works, because there's an energy under everything that we're doing. Relationships, there's an undercurrent of energy. Health, there's an undercurrent of energy. When you're let's start there, in relationships, when things are going great, when everybody's in love, when people are holding hands and romance, that's a good energy going, right? And it's that invisible energy, it's those feelings, it's those emotions that drive the physical behavior. So it's important to recognize, again, not too many people taught us that, I never was, it's the invisible energies that create the physical reality. It's the invisible energies that create the physical reality. So when the energy is good between people, you can see it. You know, if it's a romantic relationship, you can see that in terms of physical affection. When the energy is not good, if there's an argument or a fight or a disagreement, or some issues that happen, that's an invisible energy. It's emotion that shows up in not speaking to each other, or yelling, or anger, or anything like that. So the good stuff is influenced by energy, but also the bad stuff is influenced by energy too, right? Same thing in your businesses or your jobs. When everything's going great, you don't even think about it. And we don't think about it because being happy and joyful, what I call high vibration energy, is our natural state, right? So we're not trying to figure out, why do I feel so good? And why is it sunny outside? Why does it feel so? You don't think about it. You just experience it. You just be it. You're just fully present in that experience. Smelling these flowers. I don't think, why? I don't, not going into the intellect. I'm experiencing the joy of beauty, of seeing beautiful things and experiencing that energy. Now, it's when things don't go the way we want them to. That's when we start going, why is this happening to me? How come, I'm here, I wanted to be here, but now I'm over here. What's going on with that? And so many of the times we can't figure it out at the moment. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes years to really understand what's happening. So what I want to do today is I want to give you some energetic tools and reveal some energetic laws that will fill in the blank for how this works. And it fills in the blank so that you can recognize, so I'm not using a linear approach for what I'm doing. So I have to move into a nonlinear approach. Okay, well, how does that work? Well, we're going to reveal that to you today. So in energy awareness training, just the last thing for new people, the purpose of this work is to develop your energy levels, your frequencies, your vibration, so that you can reach a place where you're energetically and emotionally free. That's the purpose of this work. It's not just to feel good or, to do a, one and done healing. No, it's a training. It's not an event. It's a training. Just as we learn, if you're out of shape, to get in shape, it doesn't happen in one day, but it happens pretty quickly if you have a good plan and a good trainer or a good teacher and a good program. It's the same thing with our energy. Every human being on this planet wants to be energetically free. We all do. What does that mean? Being happy, being able to navigate the tumultuous waves of life, to be able to deal with adversity, to be able to move through these things. And we were never taught. We were never taught how to do that. And I want to go into that because I think you're going to really benefit from the class today, and it's going to open up some great tools for you. It's what I try to do for you every week. So I teach energy awareness training. I teach classes. I teach private coaching. I have online programs, all kinds of things, because my mission is to get the word out that energy awareness and energy and emotional freedom is available to everyone. So you're saying, what do you mean, Glenn? You mean that no matter what happens in my life, I can stay in a happy, high vibration energy place? And the answer is yes. That's what I'm saying to you. And I'm not talking about positive thinking. I'm not talking about Pollyannish, getting a flat tire and going, oh, I got a flat tire. Isn't that great? I'm talking about real world stuff. Okay. You and I have been around long enough to be able to separate value from fluff. And I'm going to give you the value today. I'm going to give you the cutting edge technology of human behavior and high performance. And this is what energy awareness training is all about. It's applicable in relationships, in business, in sports, in health, because all of those things are energetic, and all of those things go wackadoodle. And what do we do when it goes wackadoodle? That's my new word today. Your relationship's going great, and then one party says, "Oh, I don't love you anymore. I'm going to date someone else." What? Yesterday you said you loved me, and we were talking about getting married, and now you're, that's wackadoodle. Hey, that doesn't make sense. But you said yesterday that you loved me, and we were going to want to get married, and today you're leaving and you're off with someone else. Yeah, totally illogical, right? Non-linear. How do you deal with it? Usually people deal with not that well. They don't deal with it that well. Same thing, if you have a business and the business is going great, you've done really well. I have a friend of mine who's in the automotive parts business, accessory business, and he was doing great for 20 years. And then these tariffs got put on, the trade war going on here in between the U.S. and China. And now he's almost out of business. The tariffs are bankrupting him, and may he find another business. But hey, he didn't expect that. Everything's going great for 20 years, and now the thing's upside down. That's wackadoodle, right? Your health-wise, how many people people have been healthy a long time and work out and watch what they eat and something, and then boom, they get hit with a big health challenge, God forbid. And you're like, whoa, you're doing everything right. You're eating right. You're exercising. You're trying to, be conscious of your health. And now you're all unhealthy. That's wackadoodle. Well, we're going to deal with that today. And we're going to fill in the blanks and really show you how things work from an energetic and an underlying point of view. This is the most fascinating stuff. I love teaching. I love talking about this because this is life. This is real world stuff. This is the things that I don't care who you are. If you're a human being walking on this planet, you got to deal with this stuff. And here are the tools that will help you. So as we begin, let me just begin by saying hi to some of the people who've come on. Hey, Rasmus, glad you're with me. Maury, Karen, Debbie, Rishi, hey, thanks. If you guys could just write me out a shout out on the chat, I'd appreciate it. Just saying hi or any questions or anything you want to say, please put it on the chat because it helps me. If you like what you're hearing, it helps me get the broadcast out to more people. Appreciate that. Okay. So let's go into the topic. Energetic laws. We learned a lot of laws. We learned to stop, when you're driving, stop at the stop sign. We learn the laws, don't take what doesn't belong to you. We learn treat people the way you want to be treated. I mean, they're guidelines that we learn. But when you're studying energy, you're studying how the underpinning of this undercurrent energy works. So there are certain laws that I observed that I'm writing in the book that I'm writing on energy awareness training that have to do with that's so important for us if we want to navigate the hurdles of life. And one of them is, you've heard it before, energy. Everything is energy. So I'm looking at everything, whether it's a person, place, a thing, a business, a health, whatever. I'm looking at everything as energy. Now, if you do that, you will have a major advantage over those that don't. Why? Because all energy, people, places, things, activities, etc., have a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and it gives off information. Now, in energy awareness training, we teach that the energetic laws is that we're being constantly influenced by hidden energies, by energies that we're not aware of, that are operating in us, but we're not aware of it unless we get trained. So much of the time, you heard me say, that which we can see, we can control. That which we can't see controls us. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about these hidden energies. What are these hidden energies? Well, we're going to be talking about that. But inside all of you, we're all energetic processing and receiving vehicles. We're all giving off energy. We're all receiving energy. And one of the basic energetic laws is that energy attracts its own frequency or its own vibration. So out of all the hundreds of different energies there are, I put them under two categories. One, a high vibration or a high frequency energy, just like what Tesla said. There's a high vibration energy, and that's the energy that we want, the happiness, the joy, the peace, the prosperity, moving forward. And there's another energy called low vibration energy, which is the energy that we don't want, which is the energy of stress, worry, lack, anxiety, fear, etc. Now, in this world, the energetic law I want to talk to you about today is the law of duality, or the law of polarity. Now, some of you have heard this before. Oh, duality, yeah, okay. Or polarity. Well, what does that mean energetically? Energetically, what it means is that whatever you're dealing with, there's another opposite side that exists. Now, this is really important, because this is what I teach my private students, that it's important to have this as part of your own energetic operating system, your own reality, to understand that whatever we're dealing with, whatever we're doing, whatever we are, whatever's happening, that there's a polar opposite that also exists. So if there's a day, there's a night. If there's a light, there's a dark. If there's a good, there's a bad. If there's a right, there's a wrong. If there's a female, there's a male. If the tide goes in, the tide goes out, etc. Okay, you get what I mean. Now, the object again, in energy awareness training, is to be able to be energetically free, or at least being able, before you get to the freedom, at least to be able to manage your energies. Okay. And, as you hear this for the first time, you go, manage my energies. Well, isn't that what I do every day when I, try to get enough sleep, and I try to eat right, and I try to exercise, etc.? And the answer is yes. You're doing that. That's a part of your energy, your physical energy. And we all know that's really important. And it's certainly what I do every day. I practice taking care of my physical energy. But there's also another energy. And it's just below our consciousness. But it's funny because it's just below our consciousness, but it's everywhere if you can spot it. And this is the energies of that comprise of our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our behaviors, our memories. And this is our energetic makeup. This is who we are. And all of us have an energetic makeup, or what I call an energetic operating system. But you didn't know that, huh? You know that Apple has an OS operating system, and you know that Microsoft has a Windows operating system, but you didn't know human beings have an energetic operating system. And I'll tell you, if you want to be happy and you want to develop yourself and want to create the best you can, you've got to learn about your operating system, because that operating system is your blueprint, is your software. It is what runs you. The energies, these hidden energies, run your thoughts, because all thoughts are driven by energy. All emotions are driven by energy, and certainly all behaviors are driven by energy. So isn't it important to know what kind of energy you're in? And if you do, isn't it important to be able to stay in the highest, most productive, most proactive energies? I dare say yes. So this is what we want to go over today. Now, law of duality. Why is it important in energy awareness? Well, as we were growing up and going to school, and we're learning, someday when you're in elementary school, you're going to be in high school, and someday you're going to be in college, and someday you're going to get a job, and someday you're going to, we're preparing for someday. We're trying to develop our life. Now, all of us develop our lives linearly, literally and logically and sequentially. But what we don't do primarily is develop our lives energetically in the non-linear or the non-logical states. In other words, no one ever prepared us of what to do when life doesn't go our way, or when it seems not to go our way. So, in relationships, when you're getting along and everybody's lovey-dovey and everybody's on the same page about what they want and their feelings, life's great. No one needs any training. You just do what's natural. But when one party pulls the plug and the other one's not ready, or turns left, or something takes place, now what was tranquil and peaceful is now turned upside down. Now it's become chaotic. Now it's become unmanageable. Now there are factors, all sorts of chaos taking place, and you're going, what, why, how, like that. You've been there. I've been there. Business in the last recession that we had, I was, doing really well, doing the best I'd ever done in business and entrepreneurship, and thought, hey, finally I'm making the money I always wanted. I'm traveling all over the world. I've got the lifestyle I wanted. I finally, made it and got it together, right? And so for years, things were going good. And one year, the recession came, gone, just goes away, just disappeared within a year. The business that I built up, took me years to build it up, gone in less than 12 months. How'd that happen? Did anybody train me for that? No one trained me for that. I'm like, oh my gosh, the the business is going down. The business is going. The customers are leaving. My industry is tanking. What do I do? Have you been there? Raise your hand if you've been there in one way or the other. Please put it on the chat. Give me some feedback here. Have you been there? Of course you have. And what do we do? I didn't know what to do. No one ever taught me, okay, this is what you do when your business tanks or when the economy shifts. And so what happens is that our lives get turned upside down. And we begin a spiral of things not working out. After that happened, gal I was dating broke up. The organizations I belonged to, I had to drop out of them because couldn't afford the dues anymore. And it's just like getting thrown in a washing machine. You're like, what's going on? And that's where I pinpointed. That's where people's lives start to mess up, and that's where the unhappiness starts, and that's where the suffering starts. Unfortunately, well, I want to help you avoid that. Energy awareness training is all about letting go, releasing, disconnecting from suffering. Because if you have energetic tools, you don't have to suffer. No matter what's going on, you don't have to suffer. You may go through some growing pains, and that's a lot of what pain comes to us for. Not that we want it, but yet we know when we've gone through growing pains, it's a way for us to grow and learn. And we're better off. I certainly went through that the years that I was rebuilding my life from business catastrophe. At the time, it feels like you're caved in. But this is what I want to alert you to. This is the hidden advantage you have if you're energetically aware, because there's always two things happening. There's what's happening in the physical world and what's happening in the energetic world or the higher worlds. So what I want to teach you is that you're a multidimensional being. How's that for a sound? Multidimensional being? How many dimensions are there? Well, we're living in a three-dimensional reality. Everybody agrees to that. Even science is this. We're operating, in three dimensions. But science also says that there's possibly 10, 12, maybe even more dimensions of life right here, right now. It's just that we don't see them. Well, if that's the case, then we're basically only seeing about what, 20%? Give or take, of life. That means 80% we don't see. Wow. And if you've ever made a mistake in judgment, as we all have, you think, if only I had known then what I know now, I wouldn't have made that decision, or I wouldn't have chosen that person, or I wouldn't have gotten involved in that deal. So hindsight's 20/20. Everybody's right at the end. But where is the value of knowing what's about to happen or what the potential is about to happen? Is it after it happens? No, it's before it happens. Wouldn't that be more valuable to you if you knew before you jumped into this relationship or before you jumped into this business deal? Wouldn't it be better if you knew what the potential was so that you could see? That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about energy awareness, because I repeat, energy has a power, a purpose, a frequency, and it gives off information. Now, we have these two energies that we're constantly interacting with. You can't not interact with it if you're a human being. We're interacting with energies. The high vibrational energy wants us to grow more, to prosper more, to love more, to achieve more, to have more. Right? It wants to live life at its fullest and its happiness. It's what we all want. Now, that force interacts with us every day. And the idea is that, hey, why don't I do something? Why don't I take care of my health more this year? Why don't I volunteer at the homeless shelter? Or why don't I do a nice thing for my neighbor across the street whose husband is ill? Things like that. When you get those are high vibration energy ideas. Unfortunately, and this is something else we weren't told, there's a low vibration energy that comes to us every single day, delivers like Domino's pizza, and it's a voice in your head, and it's the voiceover that's constantly criticizing everything. It's constantly, yeah, what about this, what about that, just machine gunning thoughts in your head. Well, this, that, well, think about this, think about that, think. Between 40 and 50,000 times a day, thoughts. And it's interesting that the more stress, fear, and anxiety people have, the more they're thinking. When you go into a place of fear and anxiety or worry, your thoughts are usually doubling and tripling the amount of thought processes. What if this happens? What if that happens? If that happens, this we can. But if this happens, that. But what if I hope this doesn't happen? Because this is like just boom, 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 boom. And that's what keeps people from achieving peace. You know, have you ever been up in the middle of the night? You know, you wake up in the middle of the night and have a drink of water, go to the bathroom, you go back to sleep, and here come the thoughts. Hey, what if this happens? Oh my gosh, what if that happens? And these feelings come up, and it's like, oh, there's like a terror guy in your head, and you're looking at the ceiling, and you're going, oh man, what is that? No one ever told us. What is that? Well, people think, oh, I guess it's just my thoughts. I guess it's just, my worry. No, it's not. Energy awareness training teaches you that you are under the influence of these two energies, that these energies are trying to influence you. Now, we want to be influenced by the high vibrational energy, and we don't want to be influenced by the low. Unfortunately, we all come into this world with, this isn't our first rodeo here energetically, okay? Whether it's handed down from the ancestors, whether it's past lives, or maybe it's a mixture of both, whatever it is, we come into this world with a certain amount of baggage, with issues, with stuff. And you all know about the stuff. It's the habits, or it's the beliefs, or maybe it's the occurrences that happen, that you've been trying to work on for years. I know I was trying to work on this voice inside my head. It kind of kept telling me, you're not worthy. People are better than you. You're not going to succeed. I mean, it just, every situation I'm into, all of a sudden it just starts pounding me negatively. And I'm thinking, who's in there? Well, is some little guy in there, some little terrorist in there trying to mess with me, or what is it? Because we weren't taught about that. So I used to go walking around thinking, gee, everybody else looks so normal, and I have these thoughts in my head telling me I'm no good and nothing's going to work out. Until I became energetically aware and recognized how the energies work. And that voice in your head that tries to infiltrate your thoughts and put everything down is connected to the low vibration energy. It's a part of your mind. People call it different names: the inner critic, the ego mind. I call it the inner terrorist that's trying to send you thoughts, feelings, and emotions that will pull you into a low vibration energy vibration, that will pull you down. In other words, it will take you down. So whenever you're feeling down, how does somebody feel down or get depressed? Does it just happen to them? Is it contagious? No. It starts from a thought that, if not processed, spreads into a feeling that, if not processed and released, will spread into an emotion, and then will ultimately create a behavior. So this is why you can control your energy. This is why, when people come to me and they're down and they're depressed and they're in a downward spiral, and they ask if I can help them, I say, well, if you change your energy, you change your life. So change your, I never heard that when you change your, because all these things are energy. Everything is energy. If you're catching on to this, man, give me a shout on the chat, because I hope some light bulbs are going up, because this is the jigsaw puzzle of life. If things are going great, if you're happy, wonderful. But I teach that life doesn't come to you, it comes from you. Remember that. It's another energetic law. Life doesn't come to you, it comes from you. Hey, Nikesh, thanks. Glad you guys are on here. Again, if you guys give me a shout out on the chat, I'd appreciate it. And anything you want to mention about what I'm talking about, love to hear it. Or any questions. So what's happening is that our thoughts, feelings, and our emotions create the energy inside us. So whatever the vibration or the frequency is in here, it's going out. Your energy is constantly going out, good, bad, or ugly. You know, if you're walking around and you're breathing, you're sending out energy. And you're also receiving it back. Now, there's a lot of good energy out there, but there's a lot of bad energy too. Did anybody ever teach us how to protect ourselves against bad energy? No one ever taught me. I don't know if anybody ever taught you. No, this whole world this whole subject is pretty much brand new for the masses. Now, the people who are, you know, monks and yogis and you know, high spiritual or development beings, they know all about this, but they're not talking. Or if they do talk, it's written in such a vocabulary or vernacular that it's pretty much hard to decipher the truth from, you know, the fluff. So this is what I want to mention to you. So we have these two energies that are constantly influencing us, okay? And when you recognize that, you recognize you can see your thoughts and emotions in terms of energy. So if I start thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me? I have a condition. Maybe I'm going to die. What energy is that? It's low vibration energy. Now, what do we know about energy? It attracts the same frequency. So that kind of thing is going to bring on more low vibration energy. You know, if your team loses, your football team loses, you're in an energy of, oh, it doesn't feel good. And remember, it comes back to what I said, we're transmitting energies, whether we like it or not, good, bad, or ugly, whatever our thought process is, we're transmitting that, and we're going to create more of the same. So this is why it's so important for you to be energetically aware, because you don't want to have anything to do with low vibration energy, thoughts, feelings, emotions, people, activities, places, things. And it's funny because it's, you know, I remember when I was a teenager, there's a certain attraction to the dark side. You know, growing up in San Francisco, you know, a lot of us, you know, in high school, we'd go down to the Tenderloin, and, you know, we'd look at the, you know, the streetwalkers, and we'd look at the pimps, and we'd look at the, you know, the underbelly of life. You know, we're going, look, you know, because you never see that. But there's a certain attraction to that. But you have to watch that attraction, because it can lure you in. It can be a trap. And that's what low vibration energy activities are. Things that offer you an ounce of pleasure, you know, whether it's alcohol, or whether it's illicit relationships, or whether it's junk food, or some compulsive habit. It offers you temporary relief, but it comes with a price that you have to pay down the road. So again, no one teaches you that, you know, and that should be taught with, you know, with every bottle of booze, or every joint, or everything that comes with us. Hey, should be a warning on it. This is a highly addictive drug. You can enjoy it, but if you misuse it, it's going to cause you suffering like you never had before. Be wary. You know, cigarettes, even good things. There should be a label warning on everything. Hey, too much of anything can be addictive. So be careful. No one ever taught us that, right? So it's funny. When you're 18, or you know, I remember getting out of high school and being in college, man, I was king rebel. I was the rebel of rebels. If you tell me to go this way, I'm going to go that way. If you tell me to sit down, I'm going to stand up. You know, if you tell me to be quiet, I'm going to yell. I was that kind of guy. I know you can't imagine that, but I was. So I had to oppose everything. You know, I was giving my middle finger to the whole world, mainly because I was hurt, and mainly because I had a lot of wounds and dealing with a lot of emotional upsets and scars. And you know, when we get hurt, as all of us have been, that hurt festers. With that, what's that hurt? It's low vibration energy. What does it create more? Low vibration energy. So what it does is it is the people who are hurt usually are the most angriest. So you around people who are angry or who are mean, you know, and you think, they're just jerks, you know. Yeah. But below that, they were hurt. They were probably horribly abused in some manner, because that's why they give it to others. Abusers abuse. Not all the time. Sometimes that's not the case, but a lot of times it is, if the energy hasn't been processed. So in the world of polarity, what we're talking about in the world of duality is this. This is the key thing. What you should have been taught, and what everybody needs to know, is that we're energetic beings. Energy has a cycle. Energy is constantly moving. It never stays the same. It may seem that it stays the same, but it's always moving. I give you an example of a relationship. You know, people who are in relationships are married for a long time, you know, and it's the same thing day after day, month after month, year after year, and you think nothing's changing. But one of the partners is changing. One of the partners is going, I can't put up with this. You know, I mean, I can't deal with this, or this got to change, or I'm not happy or something. And one day, boom, hey, I want a divorce. Hey, you know, I'm running away with somebody else. Hey, you're like, what? Where'd that happen? How'd that happen? I mean, you know, it's interesting. And I do a lot of work with men in relationships and warning them, not warning them, but just letting them know about, you know, how a woman breaks up with the man. You know, when a woman's in a long-term relationship and she starts to have doubts about it, everything's, you know, on the surface, everything's going to be fine. But below the surface, she's like, do I want to stay? Do I want to go? Am I getting anything out of this? Is there's a future? And the guy's just happy. You figure, okay, you know, she's not yelling at me, and, you know, we're having sex and seems to be happy. Okay, I think everything's going great. But as you ladies know, there's a deeper undercurrent to there. And one day you make a decision, I'm out of this relationship, but it's going to take me about a month or two to leave. So I'll just go with the program and until those 2 months are up, right? And the guy thinks everything's great. You know, she's happy, she's smiling. And then 2 months later, one day she says, I'm done. I'm gone. Packed up, move, goodbye. And the guy goes, wait. Can't we talk about this? I mean, this is a sudden thing. She goes, nope, my mind's made up. Bye-bye. Because she was out of the relationship months ago. It's just that, she, you know, energetically, she was out of it. Physically, took her a couple of months, and then she's gone. For the guy, you know, he gets the boom lowered on him that day, and now he goes into the why did this happen? What's going on? It goes into that non-linear, non-logical place, and that's what I call energetic chaos. And we all experience energetic chaos in one form or another, and we're never taught on how to deal with energetic chaos, so it usually brings on some form of suffering or emotional pain. And that is totally unnecessary if you're a student of energy awareness training. So let me explain how that works. Is this of interest to you? If it is, give me a shout out on the chat about this. Love to hear from each and every one. And just say hi. It just helps me with the broadcast. Okay. So what do you do? Well, first off, preparation is the key factor in living a happy, productive, long-term life. So, it's funny when we're kids, our moms they all know what the weather is. They all know it's going to rain. It gets you in the raincoat. It's going to be sunny, or if there's going to be windy, or if it's cold, or whatever. Moms know. Why? To be able to prepare you for school, to know what clothes to put on you, to know if you should get in your rain gear, or to know what you should take, etc. So preparation is the key. And if we could prepare our children and ourselves for and understand how the game is played, the energetic game that we're in, then we wouldn't suffer, or at least as much. At least we'd be on top of things instead of being at the bottom of things. So remember, today's energetic law of duality, law of polarity. So I talk about relationships because that seems to be what most people are interested in. It seems to bring the most happiness, and it seems to bring the most pain. So you start a relationship and everything's great. You're attracted, they're attracted, you're doing your thing. You agree, yeah, let's get married, let's have a life ever after. Or maybe you just meet someone and you want to date. Whatever, there's a coming together process. Okay? Law of polarity, if there's a coming together process, there's also a potential what? Coming apart process. Right? If you're getting along great, and everything's fine, and you're moving in the same place, and there's an agreement and a feeling of closeness, there's also what? A potential of separation, a potential of being at odds with each other. You want to build something together, like a family, for example. You have the meetings of the mind. You come together to create a family. What? Hopefully to bring kids up, strengthen your marriage, share love, do great things. Okay? What's the polar opposite of that? Things not working out, disharmony in the family, marriage strain, people not getting along, different points of view about how things should be done, right? Separation. Now, all of you have experienced this too. I mentioned it in business. Your business is going great. We got a great economy going. Everybody's making money. What's the potential? The flip side of that, God forbid, but it exists. It's the potential of money being tight or the economy changing, etc. You can always count on some kind of shift taking place, no matter what it is, health-wise. I have a friend of mine, guy's healthy ever since I know him, 25 years. And then all of a sudden, boom, this thing hits him. Boom, that thing hits him. Boom, this thing hits him. Now he's not healthy, and now he's going through struggle and suffering to try to get that health back. Now, was he thinking about the place he's in now 10 years ago? No. Were the couple going through, divorce now? Were they anticipating that 10 years ago? Were business eyes? Were you thinking about what are you going to do? It's just like Hurricane Katrina in New York. Those of you who are on the East Coast, do you remember when you saw the tip of Manhattan underwater? Remember there was this flooding right around Wall Street down there where it was like under 4 foot of water. You're thinking, oh my gosh, New York City's flooding out. Nobody was prepared for that. How'd that happen? Well, the lessons that you can learn here is to be energetically prepared for whatever you're doing, whatever's going on, to be able to prepare for the opposite. The guitar player in the band U2, bought this beautiful complex, started building this beautiful complex, had this property in Malibu on this hilltop, and absolutely gorgeous, and start building on it and spent a lot of money on it, right? Because you think, wow, a beautiful house, studio on the mountain overlooking Malibu and the ocean. How cool would that be? Law of duality. If you got something good, what's the potential? Something not so good. So what happened? During the big fires that we had last year over in Malibu, the whole place burned up. All of his studio and his house was unfortunate. Gone. Did he anticipate that? Heck no. How'd that happen? There was never in the history of Malibu a fire up here. Just happened. And that's why this will help you enormously, because it's going to make you more aware. And that's why I call this work energy awareness training. Because when you're aware of how things work, you can be prepared for them. So, if you have to go overboard, wouldn't it be, if you're on an ocean liner and you fall overboard, wouldn't it be good if you were wearing a life vest? Right? Your chances of survival are going to be dramatically greater than if you fall over, with no life jacket. That's what I'm talking about, an energetic life jacket here. So this is the law of polarity. Let me just check some of the comments here, see how you guys are doing. Hey, Art, glad you're with me. Hey, Marie, belated happy birthday to you. Okay, coming in from Mexico, we're international today. Great. Thank you. All right. Any else, you guys? Appreciate hearing from you. Any comments about this? Love to hear from you. Okay, so what have we talked about so far? We've talked about the energetic laws that we're all under, whether we recognize them or not. And if we're all underneath certain laws, wouldn't it be smart to know what they are? Well, the one we're talking about today is the energetic law of duality or polarity. And that means understanding that since everything's energy in this world, people, places, things, activities, and again, I repeat, that all energy has a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and it gives off information. So wouldn't it be helpful to know, first of all, what energy you're in so that you can see what kind of power it has? So what do I mean by power? Well, the power is whatever you're doing, whatever activity, or whoever you're with, or whatever the energy frequency is, it's either in a high vibrational energy, which means it's creating more happiness, joy, peace, abundance, blessings, or it's a low vibration energy, which is going to create more chaos, more upset, all the stuff that you don't want. Okay, so these are the energies that we're interacting with every day. Now, they don't come to us with a sign. They don't knock on the door and say, hey, it's high vibration energy coming to visit you, or hey, low vibration energy with your daily delivery of suffering and misery. It doesn't. You have to be aware to be able to recognize how these things show up, because these are hidden energies. They don't come, announcing themselves with trumpets. This is a work where I developed this by observing how these energies work, how they work in our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, how they show up in our behaviors, and how when you look at life, they fill in the gap of the unlogical. Remember we talked about earlier, half of life is logical and linear. The other half of life is illogical and nonlinear. Well, when you're energetically aware and have a basic frame of how the energies work, then you can spot something that's going to be high vibration or it's going to be low vibration energy. And then you make your decisions accordingly, because those are the road signs of basic energy awareness training. High vibration energy, happiness, joy, abundance, blessings ahead. Low vibration energy, suffering, misery, anxiety ahead. Who wants to go there? No one. No one wants to go down there. So what the low vibration energy does is it has to disguise people, places, things, activities, as potential high vibration. Oh, if you get this, then you're going to get that. And you can usually spot it because it's usually a get rich quick. Oh, if you get this money, you're going to make $1 million overnight. It'll triple your money. You hear that all the time. Send me $1,000 and I'll send you back 3. Or if you buy this thing, then you'll triple your money overnight. Oh, okay. Well, if that was the case, why didn't you do it? Right? There's usually a catch when things are too good to be true. Drinking alcohol. Oh, have a drink, have a glass of wine, relax, take it easy, have a couple of beers, what's the other thing? Okay, people do that all the time. I'm not putting it down, except for the fact is there's a potential there to have one too many. There's a potential there to start leaning on that for your in a way to be able to soothe your emotions, and that's when it becomes dangerous. Okay, so this is what we want to be able to navigate. People get on drugs. Why do people get on drugs? Because they don't want to feel good, right? Take this drug, I alter my mind, I feel good. So what it does is it numbs the low vibration energy that you've got going on. But that's another class. Just throwing that in to make the point. Okay, so what will help you, and the main point of what I want to mention today is, now that we've covered this, is to understand and to prepare in marriages, for example. What do you do when you disagree? What do you do when you're angry? What do you do when your principles or your scruples get violated? How do you handle that? What do you do if one of the spouses, goes upside down or develops an alcohol or drug problem? Or what do you do if there's dishonesty, or cheating going on? Now, when you get married, who wants to think about that? You want to think about lovey-dovey, happily ever after. But I'll tell you what, if you don't have a strategy to be able to deal with all the potential negative stuff, when you find yourself in that area, as we all do, why? Because it's part of the energetic cycle. If there's a good, there's got to be, if there's a top, there's got to be a bottom, right? If there's one side, there's got to be another side. It's a continual cycle. So the ability to be able to recognize, hey, everything's good now. How do we prepare and how do we study the potential of things going bad? And when you know energy awareness training and you have the ability to release negative energy, to release low vibration energy on a daily basis, this can vitally help relationships, health, etc. Because just like we have a physical body, okay, law of duality, if we have a physical body, then what's the polar opposite? We have a non-physical body. And the non-physical body, which I call the energetic body, is the body that all of the low vibration energy sticks to, right? So when you're mad at someone, or when you're resentful or somebody did you wrong, you can feel it inside. It's like or you see somebody that hurts you or is mean to you, like, it's an automatic energy stimulant. And what energy does it stimulate? It stimulates the low vibration energy. How do you deal with that? Well, first of all, the first step is to be energetically aware about it. And the second step is to develop your energy on a daily basis so that you're able to create and connect to high vibrational energies every single day. I teach that in my courses and in my lessons. I've also done a video on how to do that. One great way is to use the energetic breath. The energetic breath starts to move energy. And the energetic breath is simply breathing through your nose for the count of 6, holding it for the count of 3, and exhaling for the count of 6 again, but loudly through the mouth. We'll do a couple of these right at the end of the class, but if you learn how to develop just that one thing, that will help you enormously, because low vibration energy tends to stay stuck. It's constrictive. It's not moving. So it's like water going through a garden hose. There can be all the water in the world, but if there's a kink in the hose, the water's not going to move through it. You got to unkink the hose for the water to move through it. Well, we got to unkink our energies every day. Because like we have a physical body, we go out in the world, it gets dirty. We got to go home, we got to clean it. You don't clean it, you might be able to get away for a day or two, but eventually you're going to have some challenges. Well, that's what mom taught us, right? Mom taught us, got to take a bath, clean all the dirt out, wash behind the ears. Right? But she never taught us to clean your energy body every day. Clean your energy body of low vibration, negative thoughts, emotions, feelings, tendencies, memories, all that stuff. That stuff needs to be cleaned every single day. Because if you don't clean it, what happens? It accumulates. It accumulates more, and it draws interest to the point where one day, the answer to what about these guys who practice super healthy habits, exercise, eat right, try to stay positive, and then one day they get knocked on their butts by some kind of illness. It's because that low vibration energy continued to fester and expand. And if you don't clean that low vibration energy, it starts to bleed over into your emotions. So that's why when you see people who are angry or mean or rude, that's an example internally of the hidden energies working on them. And unfortunately, they're low vibration energies that are working, that are creating. When you don't feel good inside, when you're stressed, and remember I said life doesn't come to you, it comes from you. So if inside you're feeling stress, you're feeling anxiety, you got worry going on, that energy is going to drive your behavior and the way you show up in life. That's why you can read, people are, if they're angry or mean, that's low vibration energy that's moving into them. And that low vibration energy is going to continue creating more low vibration energy until it's identified and dissolved. And since most people don't know how to do that, I just stay away from it. And, I'll make the suggestion to people about the work if they're interested. Okay, is this making sense to you guys? So when you're energetically aware and you're prepared. Hey, what do you do when you have a house? You buy a house, and what do? You get insurance, right? You get homeowners insurance, termite insurance, flood insurance, earthquake insurance. Why? I don't see any floods. I don't see any earthquakes. You don't see them now, but there's always a potential, and you want to be prepared for the potential. So what I teach my energy awareness training students is the ability to create a high vibration energy, vibration and frequency every single day. So you clean out the low vibration energies and you accelerate and expand the high vibrational energies. Gratitude, happiness, joy, awareness. It's interesting. In front of the house, I go every morning and I do my breaths, and it's part of my energy routine to create high vibrational energy. And I have a friend that walked by a couple of days ago, and he showed me a picture. He said, we were talking about Israel, and we were talking about prayer and stuff, and he says, well, let me show you the picture that I look at every day. And he shows me this picture, and it's of Holocaust prisoners in the concentration camps. Looking at the wire, and I'm thinking, what do you want to look at this every day? Because for me, that's low vibration energy. Seeing people suffering behind cages and the whole Nazi Holocaust thing, man, you can't get a lower vibration anywhere than that, or at least equal to that. And I said, why do you want to look at that? And he goes, you know why? So I remember that I have freedom, that I remember I am so blessed, that I remember that I'm living in the greatest country in the world. I can go and do what I want, and there's nobody trying to put me in jail. There's nobody hates me for my religion or my color. It's a wake-up call. And I went, wow, okay, yeah. That makes sense to me. So I mentioned that to us all, that energy awareness is something that you want to be a part of your everyday life. And if you are, you'll be able to see a dynamic that is hidden to most people, because most people don't recognize the energies. Most people, but if you recognize that everything you're dealing with, there's a polar opposite, and you prepare yourself. Not that it's going to happen. Some people don't experience the extreme opposite end, but everybody experiences a shift of energy. Ask any married couple who's been married for a long time, or ask any business owner. They've had their share of challenges. And if you're energetically trained and you recognize, okay, high vibration, low vibration, there's a low vibration energy blast here, you're prepared for it energetically, because this is the training that we do to be able to stay in high vibration energy frequency energetically, and energetically meaning in all 10 dimensions. So that if 3 of those dimensions go haywire, something happens we don't like, we get a disappointment, things go upside down, etc. That's not going to take us down. We still have a safety net. We still have a tether to the high vibrational energies, so that when something wants to pull us down into despair or worry or fear, you got that lifeline. If we stay connected to the high vibrational energies, it'll keep us from falling. And even though things may come to us as potential chaos, when you're able to stay in that high vibration energy frequency and keep energy moving, you're immune from it. You're bulletproof from it. It's happened, and you can weather the storm. That's really what it's about, being able to weather energetic storms that come up. And it's all done with energy. It's not just thinking. It's not just thinking positive, because the low vibration energy can and does affect your thoughts, feelings, and emotions every day. And it tries to spin them so that you're moving down in that low vibration energy. That's its job. The high vibration energy's job is to lift you up into a happy, joyous, abundant, fulfilled life, where you're whole and complete unto yourself, where you're connected to the infinite energies, the creator, the high vibration energies, where you recognize you're more than just, somebody walking around, just, one little peon in a sea of millions of peons. No, that there's a divinity, there's an expansion, there's a sacredness, there's a beauty inside you. And you can cultivate that as you, at the same time, recognize and let go of all the potential traps that the low vibration energy tries to pull you into. And there are many. We go over them a lot in these classes, but I hope that makes the point here. I'm going to take one more glance, see if there's any questions here coming on. A lot of great people. Beautiful. Appreciate you. And again, any questions, or just give me a shout out to say hi. I appreciate it on the chat, to be able to spread the broadcast. Now, last thing I want to give to you is this. Things happen to us. You can say, oh, Glenn, I'm in high vibrational energy, but this bad thing happened to me, or my life went in this direction and I didn't want it to go in this direction. So how does that work? Well, remember, there's always 2 things happening. There's always 2 things happening in this life, because remember, I mentioned we're multidimensional beings. So whatever we're doing in the physical world is creating an energetic direction. So whatever energy I'm in that I'm doing, so I'm creating an energy by it. So because we can recognize the energies, if I'm in an energy of stress or worry, or I'm in some kind of doubt or kind of thing, I'm worried about this thing. What energy is that? Worry, doubt, fear. It's low vibration energy. What's that going to create more of? more low vibration energy. Oh, it's not what we want. Same thing with the high vibration energy. When we're in a high vibration energy, happy, joyous, being with great people, uplifting, what does that do? It multiplies. So whatever energy, and it's going to multiply. But here's the thing. We go unconscious most of the time about the higher meaning or the deeper understanding of what we're doing. So for example, taking actions. Let's say I enjoy drinking. I enjoy having to drink alcoholic beverages. Okay, great. People do it all the time. Millions of people do that. But what happens is that if I use that, and it could be anything else, could be pot, could be chocolate cake or sex or whatever. But if I use that anytime I'm not feeling good to medicate myself, to make me feel good, in the physical world, it makes me feel better. But in the energetic worlds, what I'm doing is I'm creating a dependency, or I'm creating a dependency, and I'm creating a stimulus response, whatever it is. So don't feel good, use this, feel better. Don't feel good, use this, feel better. Now, that is an energetic strategy that I'm taking, as well as a physical one. And what happens is people don't get hooked on stuff or bad habits or addicted, the first time they try something, or maybe the 10th time they try something. But what happens a lot is that when we go upside down, when the proverbial crap hits the fan, we don't know how to deal with it. They're gone. They've lost. I've lost. They're whatever. I'm in distress. I've already trained myself in the energetic worlds to medicate myself with this particular substance. So what do? I've already trained. I immediately go to it and start using that to make me feel good. And now that begins to slide into dependency, whatever it is. Could be another person, could whatever, to slide into dependency. And then people wake up and they have major problems of whatever they're dependent upon, alcohol, drugs, etc. And they're going, whoa, now I got an alcohol, or I got a drug problem, I got an eating problem, or I got a sex problem, whatever it is. They didn't realize that they were creating that by what they were doing in the physical world. So everything you're doing in the physical world creates a direction. And that's why you want to be really aware of what direction is that. Is it a good direction, or is it not a good direction? Is it a direction that I want, or is it a direction that I don't want? So again, it's all about being more aware of what you're doing. Okay? All right. Let's go. Let me show you a couple more energetic breaths, and then we'll call it a class. So if you're brand new to this, again, I mentioned I teach energy awareness training. There are 10 levels of it that deal with everything in life, from relationships to health to money to sex to awareness, spirituality, etc. Because I cover all the aspects because they're all incidental. In fact, work with sports people who you think, well, what does energy awareness have to do with sports? Everything everything to do with it. Because what is sports? Performance. What is sports? A behavior. What is sports? A strategy. And that's energy. And energy has, let's hear it, gang, a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and it gives off information. So showing you the energetic breath so that you can start right now moving the energy. If you've got a problem you're dealing with, or you're stressed about something and you don't know what to do, the first thing you can do is to get out of your head and start the energy moving. So let's do that. So we're going to breathe through the nose for the count of 6, hold for the count of 3, exhale for the count of 6. All right, let's just do a couple of them so you know how to do it. Now, I want you to close your eyes, and we're going to breathe through the nose, but I want you to imagine your nose is at your belly button, right below your belly button. So you're going to take a breath from down there. When you breathe down there, it opens up all of your energy channels. So imagine that your nose is below your belly button. Let's take an energetic breath, breathing in through the nose for the count of 6, holding for the count of 3, and a loud exhale for the count of 6. Okay, we'll pause at the end and just pause for a moment, and then we'll do it again. All right, here we go. Tune into your area below your belly button. Imagine that your nose is there. Feel your feet flat on the floor. Let's take an energetic breath slowly. Inhale, 1, 2, breathe low, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fill up the lungs with air. Hold it for the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Exhale slowly. That's 6. Good. Get all the air out. Pause for a moment. Be still. Be aware. Just touch the silence. That's where we receive high vibration energy. Good. Let's take another one. Tune in the spot below your belly button. Imagine that your nose is there. Feel the floor underneath your feet. Let's take an energetic breath. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Breathe low, 4, 5, 6. Fill up the lungs there. Hold it for the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3. Nice and loud. 4, 5, 6. Get all the air out. Normal breath. Pause. Be still. Be aware. Move into the gap between the thoughts, the silence, the stillness. That's it, just for about 5 seconds. Okay, one more energetic breath together. Tune into the space below your belly button. Imagine that your nose is there. Let's take an energetic breath, breathing through the nose for the count of 6, holding it for the count of 3, exhaling it for the count of 6. Here we go. You can inhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe low. 5, 6. Fill up the lungs with air. Hold it for the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Exhale loudly through the mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get all the air out. Good. Now pause for a moment. Be still, be aware. Let's just move into that gap between the thoughts, that silence, that presence, just for about 30 seconds. And it will make you feel better, and it'll start to raise your high vibration energy. Here we go, 30 seconds. Just relax your shoulders and begin. Silence, presence. That's right. Good. Take one more big breath. Exhale. And just something just like that. What was that, 3 minutes? Just moving the energy can make you feel better. And that's all about. This is a sample of what I do in energy awareness training. It's a complete method that you learn all about your energy, all about where it is, what it comes from, how to get rid of your low vibration energy, and how to be happier and healthier and filled with joy. So I teach this personal one-on-one coaching. I do group classes. I teach on video. And I'm all about getting this work out to the world. So if you know anybody who needs to hear about this and who needs this and who doesn't, go ahead and share this broadcast with them. I'm also on YouTube, have over 100 videos on different parts of energy awareness training. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and what else? Something else. Love to hear from you. Any comments, any input, anything that you want to say, I'd love to hear about it. And that's going to do it for today. So with that, I'm going to get ready for the game today. Go Niners. All right. Love and blessings to everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Please stay in touch. And I'm going to write the website here when we finish. All right. Bye for now.